And we are live back for the merge episode of ImmuniTEA Time. Joining me, as always, is my host, Will, and the lovely Amaris for Amaris Day.
Woohoo!
It's Amaris Day, my favorite op.
And look, she's got a drink too. Perfect. Favorite op. Yeah, this is the Second Chance Awards show right here.
And the Center Stage Awards show.
Ooh.
Yes, of course. Center stage mention already.
All right, so I haven't mentioned it all season. Maybe I have. I don't know.
It's all good. Brief, just overview. We're trying a little bit of a change of format for this episode. So we had a suggestion that we can get all of our episode analysis and thoughts out there as a whole, recap between Will and I without our perspective changed from the person voted out. And then once we're through with that, bring on the booted person and they become the star of the show. Focus is all on them. So we will have Rich Dog joining us later. So stay tuned. He's here in the background waiting. He's got a lot to say and we will get to him. He will say all of it. But before we do that, we have a lot to say on this episode, I think. Will, did you have any initial thoughts? We're at Merge at 11.
Did we cheers our ImmuniTEA? That's my favorite part.
Oh, do it.
Cheers.
It's so realistic.
I will say every week it does look like tea. I make a point for that.
Yeah, mine's just water.
This is tea as well.
Period.
I'm a fraud.
No, I don't know if I had anything like too noteworthy. I mean, I think a couple people have talked off camera about the infamous cheek kiss from Jimmy to Corey, and Richie screaming and jumping for joy. You know, kind of the typical stuff. I was ready for another Amelia deadpan look to the camera. Still one of my favorite parts of the season so far. But no, I don't think anything too crazy until the challenge.
Yeah. Any thoughts from the scene? But for those that don't know or haven't seen Amaris in the background, her first season on production, audio issues, not her fault. Just saying, not from Amaris' side.
Mm-hmm.
While you were there live, how was the emotion from everyone when they realized they were finally merged?
Certainly palpable. So they were so excited to have made day 2, right? Like that was a first mountain for us. And then an even higher amount of joy at merge. I think it's such a milestone, right? That everyone's like, just want to make merge, just want to be on the jury. So you can tell there's a lot of like relief there too. They all got new buffs, which they were excited about. So you've got a similar looking to the villain, but like gray or buff for the merge.
Nice. And you got to keep that as a souvenir as well?
They did give me a villain buff for my time filming the Villains Tribe. And because I'm a villain as well. Because I'm the villain of the Challenge Wisconsin Season 1.
I was going to say, yeah, you're definitely belonged on the Villains Tribe. That's why you were placed there on production, clearly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we get into the challenge, and everyone has to, what they call it, a V formation? It's like a half crunch or something, and hold your feet above a block. Will and I were talking a little bit before we went live. Was there really a consistent form for this? Because we had some people with bent knees, some people straight, some people switching between. So I wasn't sure if just anything goes as long as your feet don't touch the block, or...
I think, yeah, truly the idea was your feet just had to be above the block so that if they went low enough, they would knock it over. But other than that, sort of anything goes, just as long as you could stay in that position the longest.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Reno Sweeney.
Drink.
As Reno Sweeney would say. Whew. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Amelia, I think I clocked Amelia, Joe, Emily, and Ben. I think were the 4 that had their feet the highest, which I don't know a lot about physics, but I think that would make it harder. So yeah, definitely very different strategies. Also, the bent knees from Nolan seemed to bode pretty well. But of course, Team Will snuck out the win. Very happy.
Nolan also reached a shade of red that I didn't know was possible for a human being, which was really cool to see.
And yeah, Jimmy mentioned it.
I don't know if we got a good look at that on the video, but
he was like a tomato. It was really impressive.
Okay,
he was villain red.
Villain red,
which says a lot because Nolan is like pretty tan from my memory. Yeah.
Ben does say they told us V pose, so I don't know why he was allowed to bend his legs. So I'm not even familiar with the term V pose. So, but I guess if your legs are bent, it's not really making a V, kind of an upside down V.
I mean, I'm not familiar with most things that Devin says or that Ben speaks, so both on both accounts, not surprised.
Yeah. Oh, Joe's already here. Joe, hi Joe. He was giving true form and didn't realize Bentneys were okay. This is his bad for not listening. Well, get him next time, Joe. So yes, Jimmy wins the challenge. Yay for Will, because don't know if you noticed, but everyone talking about their long-term plans going forward. I don't think anyone mentioned Jimmy's name.
It's okay.
So
Bottom up.
Yeah, I do think he needed it. Going into the merge, my thoughts of who was at risk were Joe, Richie, and Jimmy. Just from a standpoint of villains had the numbers, and Emily already identified Jimmy and Joe as big threats. And then Richie, well, Nolan, we knew would easily flip on Richie based on their conversation from last week. And so, Will, I think last time we talked, you also were saying you felt Richie was at risk. Was that your same thoughts going into merge?
I did. I forget who said it. I think it might have been Jimmy, but at some point in the episode, someone was like, people look for an excuse. I think it was when Jimmy was trying to like calm Richie down, was like, don't freak out. I think Jimmy said something. I think it was Jimmy. Someone said something to Richie on the lines of like, people look for an excuse to get you out, so don't give them one. And that was essentially what I was saying last episode. Is I think people are going to look for an excuse, and I worry that Richie's going to give them one. And we'll get more into it, but I think that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, and I liked the scene where we first get to see Jimmy and Richie talking. Jimmy's just trying to find an idol, but Richie's just trying to tell him about everything that just happened since the start of the game. And you could just tell Jimmy's just not even able to fully listen. I think the only comment he got in was, yeah, I thought you were going to cry. And Richie's like, I was. Oh, Richie, love you.
Yeah,
Richie clocked it too. He was like, Jimmy, stop. Like, look at me. I'm trying
Yes.
to talk to you.
I know.
Well, Jimmy needed to find that idol that he gave up to Nolan. Richie was focused on tea with Nolan from 3 episodes ago, and Jimmy's focused on that idol he lost 3 episodes ago. So both of them, aren't talking to each other because in their minds they're still in different tribes.
I mean, I don't know if he lost it. He just kind of gave it away. That's the spin from Team Will.
Long-term strategy. Don't worry about it. Long-term strat.
So Jimmy plants the seed that it's Dakota that's going to be pushed. And really that's what Richie hears for the majority of the round until like the very end. I mean, it just seems from the get-go, this was Richie. And the other names were just there as bluffs. So I guess there's more to talk about than the strategy is everyone else's relationships going forward, because Kira already was good with everyone on her tribe, and she instantly seems to make a bond with Emily and Corey, really everyone. I don't know. Does she not come off as, I don't hear people saying that she seems like a threat, but I feel like she clearly is. Is it just me? It's just me.
No, I'm like skimming through my notes. I mean, I think the fact that I don't have anything that comes to mind. Yeah, I don't think anyone really seems concerned about Kira. It seems like Emily wanted her in a group. I think Nolan wanted her in a group. I think she's in a pretty good position. I mean, obviously, I've said before, I would consider Kira a threat. All 3 of us have played with her. And so we know what she's capable of. But yeah, I think that she's, whether it's a mix of luck, there's always a little bit of that in these games, mixed in with like lessons learned from the prior 2 seasons. She's in a very good position in a way that enough people want to work with her that she's solid, but no one's really threatened by her that she has to worry about her name being out there.
I think Kira did her research, obviously, too. She comes in knowing things about Emily's previous game and legends about stuff with Vin, and I think she's able to use that to her advantage. She talked to Emily about, like, seeing her previous season and being like, oh, I wanted to work with her. She's so badass. And I think that really helped to establish those bonds with the old era people very quickly.
Yeah, Emily had to be impressed because, Emily's like, I didn't watch any of your shit. She's like, but I love that for you and for
she said
us.
That's great.
Yeah, that's music to my ears. Let's go. Yeah, and I think ever since Kira put on her awesome happy face hat, she's really been feeling herself. I feel like the confidence has been exuding from Kira. She goes up to Corey and goes, "Yeah, I want to play with the big dogs." And it's like, oh, is that Matty Ice? What's going on here?
And I think it's interesting, that like it seems like Kira and Emily both are cautious, but like want to move forward with each other. Like we see Kira talking with Ben, like, can I really trust Emily here? And Emily's going to, I forget who it was, saying that, Dakota doesn't seem to trust Kira, but she's trying to push Dakota on why that is, because maybe there's something she's missing. So I think they're both like, they both feel like it might be too good to be true. So it's curious to see how their dynamic unfolds in, episodes moving forward.
Yeah, I had to highlight Devin. Smiley face for Matty Ice too on the hat, just not in the corner of the vote. It's a shout out. Okay, so Kira's doing great. Emma, to a lesser extent, has also she was well integrated on Heroes. She's becoming more integrated, but people are still a little bit, even Dakota, her friend outside the game, is like, I don't know, Emma's kind of shady. But I think that Emma for now is still in a pretty decent spot. Dakota, I don't know. She was being thrown out as a name. She still feels a little bit wishy-washy right now. She does have the teabag idol, TM. But I was worried when she told Emily about it last week, and Emily goes ahead and tells, is Kira, right, that she told about Dakota and Nolan having an idol, which Kira already knew Nolan had the idol from Jimmy. But that's exactly why I was like, no, don't tell Emily this. And
yeah, the idol's becoming such public knowledge very quickly, which is interesting to see, because it seems like maybe Dakota just told one person, but I think many more people know now.
Maris, what do you feel about just telling people about an idol in general, assuming no one saw you find it?
Yeah, I'm very anti telling people I have anything. So like Dan, you saw me find an idol in Second Chance, so you were the only person I told I had it. But otherwise, I think it just gets too risky. I think there's a chance that they tell one person and that person tells one person, and it just domino effects, and then you are not able to use that in the way you want it to. It can come back to bite you, though, right? If your closest ally finds out that you had an idol or an advantage for 4 rounds that maybe you could have used for something else, then they may feel a little slighted that you didn't trust them enough. So double-edged sword, but I'm pro keeping it to myself.
Which, speaking of, we kind of saw a little bit of that with Jimmy trying to damage control with Joe, pretending that he hadn't told anyone about his idol that he gave to Nolan. So he was telling Joe about it. Ben comes up. He goes, "Oh, I just finished telling Ben about this," even though he told Ben about it right when it happened. And he goes, "And I'll also let Kira know," even though he also told Kira same time he told Ben. But I mean, it seemed to work for now. I don't know what Joe's actually thinking. He's probably still like, why are we giving idols to the other tribe? But okay, Jimmy, at least you told me.
What was interesting too is that Jimmy had framed it to Joe, if I heard correctly, that Nolan's idol is the one that Jimmy gave him, but that's not true. This is a new one that he found, right? Aren't I remembering that?
Because no, I think he played the one he found right away, and then this is the new one from Jimmy.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. I'm getting confused now.
The one that Emily got pissed at him for playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So who else have we not talked about here at Merge? Ben and Nolan finally meet up together.
Duo.
I know. They couldn't keep the love apart. And they instantly band together to vote out Richie.
I hate to say this because this man does not need any more confidence, but just like Kira, Ben is not a threat to anyone right now. I think every single person at some point this episode has said they want him in some sort of alliance. I think Ben's in a really solid spot. I mean, I think the comparatively to Kira, since I brought up the comparison, I think the difference is that Emily does say, I'm going to bring Ben as long as I can, but then I'm going to have a separate alliance without him, which I was like, you better eat. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, no one's really looking at Ben. I mean, maybe it's kind of the unspoken knowledge that he's someone you get out at, 4, 5, 6. So it doesn't really need to be said at final 11. But yeah, I think he's in a good spot on both tribes.
Yeah, I agree. He's very well insulated. He's got this tight alliance he named where everyone else also seems to be in on the alliance. So it's great. It's how you want an alliance to work. It's interesting because I think Amelia clocked this way back on Villains at one point when she was like, if we let Ben and Nolan meet up, like
Mhm.
that's an unbreakable duo. And we're seeing it immediately. So justice for Amelia. She was right.
Unbreakable bond mentioned from the second chance spreadsheet.
It's hashtag unbreakable bond.
Yes. No, Amelia is the one that brought that up and then backtracked when it was going to become Nolan. She's like, wait,
Well, yeah.
no, I can work with Nolan. Let's make it Matt instead. Love that episode for her still. And Amelia, pretty much her name came up, but she's not a real option at all. And I don't know if she is after this week either, to be honest. I feel like there are just bigger threats than her. There's still Emily mostly. And I love that when it was brought up about her and Dakota saying each other's names, and they're like, who is spreading that? And she was asked that right in front of Emily, and she just goes, Emily here. It's just, I just love the bluntness and straightforwardness that we get from Amelia every week. And I think that, yeah, she might slip under the radar for a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're really trying to exploit that division between her and Dakota, right? And it's something that Ben mentioned, I know too, is that like they were sort of at odds on the Villains tribe, so they want to continue that as long as possible. I think it's a good strategy, right? If you have two people who are feuding and it's not you, it's great to keep them both around to keep that going a little longer.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'm glad with Amelia that I think she's in a really, I feel like I say this about a couple people, but she's in a good position socially where like she's not as connected as say like Ben or Kira, but she's doing fine. I think she's taken more of a backseat, which for a big personality like Amelia is a huge feat. It's something I've never been able to do as a big personality. I just can't shut my mouth and I always just want to be on the TV. And so yeah, for her to like really at merge kind of pull back and just chill a bit, I think she's really doing great. I will also say that I know that, you know, her relationship with Ben is not the same as Nolan's with Ben, but I was a little bit worried that she was going to kind of fall on that friendship at merge. But she hasn't really linked up with him much at all, at least what we saw this episode, which I think is going to be better for her, to not have that like blatant pair.
Yeah, and Joe. Oh, go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
No, you first.
Oh, I was just going to mention it's a Mayor's Day. Joe said it in the episode chat too, but it is such a treat to watch Amelia play the game as a viewer, right? Like the confessionals are so fun, but also even when she's not the focus of conversation, you hear her laughing in the background, and it's just really refreshing to see someone like play the game with such a fun energy, and you can tell she's really enjoying herself.
Yeah. All I was going to say was I like the interaction with Ben, where I think she brought up Emily just again with the whole throwing her and Dakota against each other, and Ben being like, "You're fine to say that in front of me, but don't say it in front of Nolan."
He was like, "You're safe with me. You're safe here."
Yeah. I also love this was such like a me move for different reasons, but I still like resonate with it when Dakota was like, so Amelia, I heard you've been pushing my name. And Mia's like, I didn't push your name. And Dakota was like, oh, well, it was last night. And Mia's like, oh, you mean that time? Yeah, that was me.
Last night? Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
No more. Yeah.
Love that. Corey, this episode, to switch gears entirely, I was trying to think of who else we haven't talked about, but he was pretty quiet this episode. I mean, outside of Richie literally lifting him out of a conversation.
Well, he said in his confessional that he's quote putting his ego aside and knows that he needs to simmer the fuck down. I will say he has this charm around him because y'all know I've been very vocal in the past about like two players that are too cocky, a la Nolan season 8. But something about Corey's missed when he's like, I know I can run this shit. And I still am like, yeah, you could. I don't know what it is about this, but like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm all about it. So yeah, I think that's why we didn't see as much. I think he understands that he needs to, just like Amelia's doing, pull back a little bit. And especially with the villains shooting at each other, that's a perfect time as someone who's on that tribe to let them be the focal point and fall into the shadows a bit.
He is idiotless now, though.
I know he didn't save his idiot, which we'll get to later because he says in his vote otherwise, but he did not try to save his idiot.
No, but yeah, we'll get to it. Did he need to, right? Like, I think a lot of people were clocking the Richie Corey duo, and it was clear that Corey was pulling some strings there. And I think it did in ways like it could fall on him so quickly as a threat there. So maybe he had to let this one go.
Yeah, I agree. Richie was a huge strength for him to be there, but almost like a double-sided sword. Yeah, where everyone was so targeted on Richie, it's like you kind of have to let it go at a certain point. But Shane says he still has some idiots. I guess anyone can be an idiot if you really want to.
I also love the little like Corey Kira moment. Would not have expected that, but I think if like that's a very that's who Kira had said, right? That she like want to work with big targets. That's a pairing that I would not expect, but I think would be really solid, and especially because people I don't think would expect it. So curious to see what happens there. I don't think it was more than what it was, like just brief 2-second check-in, but could see it developing further.
And Joe, I don't think we talked Joe yet. I'm still a little worried for Joe.
The only thing I'll say about Corey, not that one, no, it's okay. Not that one vote is going to make or break a game, but if he makes it to the end, I think he lost Richie's vote by not telling him after parading around that he's going to tell Richie if his name's out there. So
what if he finds a way to show his voting confessional to Richie ahead of time?
He reenacts it.
Yeah, it's like Big Brother where you get the goodbye messages.
He pulls Tyler over. He's like, show him.
Yeah. So I think the most heartfelt was coming from Corey, but Richie didn't see that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's heartbreaking to watch Corey in this episode. Honestly, it was a very different side of Corey, and I think a very human side of Corey that was also very interesting to see. But yeah, I felt for him.
Yeah, me too. Joe is who I wanted to talk about. I'm still worried for Joe, but I really enjoyed the interaction with him and Emily when Emily tells him how intimidating he is. And I don't think I've ever seen Joe so gobsmacked. He's just like, me? What did I do?
My favorite too in that conversation is when Emily asks who Joe's working with, and he immediately pivots. Is like, oh, well, actually, I want to talk about the Vin vote. We don't need to talk about who I'm working with. You don't need to worry about that.
None of that.
I want to make sure that I apologize for what I did to your man. I'm like, you better work, Joe, because you're not only building that connection, but you're also getting it off the fucking, like, we're not going to talk about my game. We're going to focus on our dynamic. And I think that's where Joe's strength lies, is those one-on-one connections, having played a game with him before. I think he does really, really well with individual relationships. So it was layered for me, which I really enjoyed.
He needed to mention, though, that if it weren't for him, Vin wouldn't have been able to sleep on the futon successfully because Joe set it up for him. So really,
he needed to say he was crucial in Vin's good night's sleep. Yeah.
Exactly. And he wasn't the one that said Vin couldn't get Paul Bunyan's. That Joe was all for that. So not so intimidating. I worry for him because I think he is still seen as a threat. I don't see him making more connections with the villains tribe. Nolan even verbalized these like low-key house husband I want out as well. So his main connections are Emma and Kira, but if they're already making connections with other people and they also see that, they could easily just target Joe as an easy vote and to weaken them a little bit more too. So I don't want it to happen for Team Dan's sake, but I am worried for him.
My other thing with Joe is that I'm worried, and I'm hopeful it's just him playing it smart at merge, but he wasn't really giving anyone anything. Anytime there was any game talk, it was a reflection of what everyone else in the group was saying or what the other person was saying, aside from like casually throwing out Amelia's name to Corey, but then Corey's like, I haven't heard that. And he's like, yeah, it's not really happening as much. So I'm hoping that was him trying to play it more quiet. Like him and Emma had bonded over that, like that they usually play under the radar back on Heroes Tribe. Said he was doing that because of the chaos. I mean, like 11 people at a merge is crazy. So I'm just hoping that he gives people more game, because I think that's also going to help him or give him a chance at not being as much on the bottom. Like because I agree with you, Dan. I do worry for Joe unless he gives people more to work with.
Yeah. I think for Joe, if Jimmy is not immune the next round, that could be an easy vote for him to push that way, since not hearing a lot. I think from Jimmy himself, it seems like he's like, I'm good with Nolan and Ben, but I don't know that Nolan and Ben feel the same way Jimmy feels about that. They're like, thanks for the idol, but see ya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't included in their like list of ideal allies, which was really telling.
Ben listed like 6 people, and not one of them was Jimmy.
Yeah, and also I think it was Emily and Nolan who had agreed that next round they want to make sure it's a hero. And if Kira's in a good position, Ben's in a good position. To your point, Dan, if Jimmy wins immunity, Emma, I think, is also in a great social position. All that's left is Joe by default.
Yeah. Well, see where it goes going forward. Watch Jimmy just win all the immunities going forwards, and then we have to hear from Will about it the rest of the season.
Did you clock that Jimmy just spent a lot of conversations doing like ab damage control? He kept being like, guys, I don't even do abs. You guys, I'm not even that good at abs. Like, okay,
during the challenge, like, Joe, lift my shirt. Yeah.
Guys, I don't even have abs.
You know, this is the work of Team Will. We downplay our physical strength, so we got to make sure that we are not a physical threat.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to Jimmy not having abs because he was constantly showing his stomach throughout all of season 8. And he put together, either him or his friend put together a montage of all the times he was showing off his stomach. So, okay. Was there anything else before we get to, the main event? There's one person we didn't talk in depth about, and I think it's because we're going to be talking in depth about them a lot going forwards. But before we get to that point, do we have any other thoughts we wanted to talk about going forward?
It was my terrible footage of the zoom in on the idol, but it was because I just wanted to show that so many people were standing around the idol and no one was clocking it. So there is a lot of conversation happening in that dining room where it's hidden in the windowsill and no one cares.
You zoomed in on it and I still didn't know why we were zooming in. I wasn't in the live chat, but I'm like,
thank you, Will.
No, I'm blind. I mean, that's why I haven't found an idol on Survivor Wisconsin. So,
well, because it also did just look like I was zooming in on someone's butt too, and I was like, "That's not, guys. That wasn't it. No."
I thought it was like the tree outside or something. I was looking past the window. I'm like, "What's happening here?"
I'm trying to get like nature documentary footage. Yeah.
It's just like, look at the snow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So see if anyone finds that idol. Yeah. What's up, Will?
The other thing we forgot to talk about when Nolan and Jimmy are talking about the idol, and Jimmy was like trying to essentially get the idol back from Nolan, and he was like, Jimmy's like, yeah, we could use it together. It's our idol. Because he could totally tell that Nolan's not giving him that fucking idol back. And Nolan's like, yeah, man, like we'll just swap it back and forth every round. Like, just give me one more, we'll figure it out. I'm like,
it's not yours.
Jimmy knows, right? It's like that meme, like in that moment he knew he fucked up. Jimmy knows he's screwed.
Amaris, about idol gameplay. You already talked about telling people about idols. How do you feel about giving your idol away to others?
Oof, I mean, not something I think I would do, right? I never considered it in Second Chance. I guess, Dan, if at some point you knew I had it and you had been like, I really, really need it right now.
Oh, I didn't need it though.
But okay, brag. Okay. Okay. Did you even get one vote? I don't know if you.
Well, at Final Tribal, yeah, when it counted.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, at Final Tribal.
So true.
But yeah, I think I just get too scared, right? I'm like, idols are so precious. Who knows when I'll need this? But I am maybe not the most brave player either. So it's a brave move, and we'll see if it pays off.
All right.
Yeah, I would play it on someone, but I would never give it to someone. I think that's another layer of boldness. It's also a lot of confidence in yourself that you're that safe that I've just never had. Playing it on someone else, if you have a necklace around your neck, it's a lot different than handing it to a whole other tribe. The other thing, I just have a couple more things before we move on, but the other thing about Jimmy, he was debating telling Richie before the vote to blow everything up, which I was, as a TV viewer, I was here for. I saw in the comments, or sorry, I saw in the exit interview with Richie, he had thoughts about people preying on his emotions. So I guess it's for the best that Jimmy didn't do it, but I think that would have made for great TV, personally.
Well, should we bring on the man of the hour?
Sure.
All right. Well, without further ado, welcome to the center stage. Rich Dog. Sorry, is this a crossover episode? We have early birds and ImmuniTEA time?
Anna Maris.
Hello, it's me.
We know.
Oh,
How are you, Richie?
how am I?
How are you?
Yeah, feeling better yet?
No, I'm still depressed, but I've been depressed since November. So I mean, I have a list of stuff that I want to talk about. You told me to make a list. You told me to
ready.
make a list, right? You told me to
Dan
make a
did,
list.
Dan did tell Richie to
first
make a
off,
list.
Let me get my crown back on because we all know I'm the king of this shit. Let's see. First off, the butting in shit, bullshit.
Right
Okay,
into
let
it.
me actually go off with that first because that actually pissed me off. Emily's been saying that shit since fucking Legends. I have not been buddying conversations. There was a clip of the Emily and Nolan conversation last episode where I'm about to go off. I was going to join a conversation with them and talk to them. But then Emily's like, hey, can we have a minute alone? I'm like, yeah, sure. I walked away. There were like 3 other conversations within like those few rounds of that last episode where I would walk off and they say, can we have a minute alone? I wasn't butting in. I was like just walking in and walking along to it. But when Emily does it, Amelia does it, Dakota does it, Emma does it, fucking Jimmy does it, Corey does it, Nolan does it, anyone else that does it, it's perfectly fine. But when I do it, it's bunny my ass in. Like, bitches don't know when I'm actually bunny my ass in, first off. And second off, it's really just almost like comes off as a bit of ableism from certain people. And I'm going to say it like that. There are some people who were very anti-me from the fucking start. And hearing that whole fucking thing pissed me off. It still pisses me off. I still disagree with it. It was not me bunnying in. Oh, speaking of things I disagree about. Sorry, I know I'm talking a million miles an hour.
I was like, we could talk about each subject too, unless you want to just run through all of them.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Well, yeah, I'll just go back to my hosting line. Is there anything you 3 want to say before we move on?
Rich Dog, I will say there was one conversation we saw where you came in with maybe Corey talking to someone, and Corey said, "Can I have 1 second?" And you said, "1," and then you stood there. So I'll just say as a counter example.
I thought he was gonna laugh. That one was a joke. That one was an honest joke because I thought he was gonna laugh at that one.
Richie, you know I love you, and I'm gonna save my thoughts on the ableism comment when we're off the pod because I do want to talk to you about that one-on-one. But
I was more so joking with that. It's not like actual like
you
that.
Set up with love. You said it before, so I want to talk to you about my thoughts on that. But anyway, for example, to also jump off what Amaris said. As a viewer, when I saw you go in the conversation with Dakota and Amelia, they were very much kind of bearing the hatchet, and you were just kind of there. To me, as a viewer, it felt like butting in. I guess if I were playing, I would be like, oh, they're having their moment. Let me go into another conversation or find another room where I can get my name off everyone. So that's just my perception.
All right.
I do think, though, you are right that everyone butts into other conversations. We saw Maris do it just last season where everyone was talking about voting her out and she would just show up.
Not a national Amaris Day.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we have to bring it back to Amaris for Amaris. Yeah. So, but I think, though, when there's enough traction and other reasons to also vote you out, any other little thing that you may be doing is just fuel to that fire. And so if you are doing that, that's an easy thing to run with, and people can go, oh, yeah, Richie has done that and has been doing that. And then once that becomes a narrative, then every time you're showing up, it's like there's Richie butting in again. And so I think there's a little truth to both sides. Like, I don't think you were necessarily in the wrong every single time you did that or anything, but I do think there's probably instances where it did come off as you inserting yourself and then people took that and ran with it.
I think something that I wanted to say tonight, this feels like an appropriate time to bring it up. And this is not just for Richie, it's for Dan, it's for Maris, it's for myself, it's for anyone who's watching who plays LRGs. If you have not been watching Survivor 50, I think Charlie put it best, is watching yourself play seasons and listening to how other people in that season perceived you is helpful feedback for a future season. Because even if you don't agree with it, which there are some things, especially in Second Chance, that I don't necessarily agree with that people said about me, it's helpful information. So when I go into my next game, I know how to use that to my advantage to, hopefully in my case, finally make a fucking final tribal. So not, that's not just for you, Richie. I think it's for all of us. It's helpful just to remember, like, take it with a grain of salt, but still take it.
Yeah.
The feedback you got from Second Chance you didn't like was that people were saying you did actually win battlebacks. Is that right?
It's that no one said that they were in my pockets. Everyone was obviously there. I don't know why y'all are so delusional.
We all had residents. Yeah.
It was B.
Get a timeshare.
Sorry, Richie, what was that?
Byron reference?
The Byron reference?
Yep.
No, sorry, it's B asterisk Ron.
Of course.
Sorry.
So the butting in.
Wait,
First
sorry,
on your list.
With this Survivor 50, what the fuck is going on with that shit? Sorry, I just want to insert that in because what the fuck is up Jeffrey's ass right now?
What? We're back on early birds.
Richie, we're gonna just focus on Heroes vs. Villains.
I know.
Okay,
I just
so-
wanted to say that because a lot of people don't agree with 50, and I have
So
to.
Richie, I think we spent a good amount of time on point 1. I'd love to hear what's your next point on your list. I'm sure you have like 50 points.
Oh,
Please.
I have a long list.
Great. So what's point 2?
Yeah. So Emily. Yeah, Emily. I gave her the Death Glare and Dakota, which I don't know why I give Dakota the Death Glare, because looking back, it was very much like tit for tat. Like, we both went for each other, which fair enough on that. I don't know why I gave Dakota the Death Glare on my way out. Emily, I was right to, because I damn well know her ass was partially behind my vote off. Every time I play with her, it's always just like shit talking. And when she said tonight, like, oh, Richie, I love you, I'm like, really? Because the last I heard, you were shit talking me between Legends and One World 2, which confuses me at why I'm getting like comments launched at me from like seasons that I'm not even on. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I don't hate Emily and I don't hate Ben. I make a lot of jokes, but like, I don't hate either of them. But then it's kind of like in the game, it's always this kind of false narrative by her. Like, even go to Legends. The first time I played, second time I played with Emily, technically was Legends. And the first thing she says, we're not even on the same tribe, was watch out for Richie. We need to get him out the first chance we get because he will observe what's going on around him and make the decision on what's best for him, which I'm like, that's basic fucking strategy there. What the fuck? So like, I'm just so confused at what the hell was going on with that. Because I felt like every single time I tried to talk to anyone, it felt like she was almost trying to undermine me or come at me. And I was so confused and hurt by it because it's like, outside the game, I wanted to be friends with Emily, but it's just it was kind of annoying because it's like every time I even try to be around her, I always hear about her shit talking me and it hurts a lot. Like, it really felt like a personal jab. Also, by the way, I knew she was lying to me when she told me she didn't tell Nolan and that it was just obvious. Like, obviously, first off, yes, it was obvious. I was pissed at him. I know I did not contain that as well as I wanted to. And I have some more stuff with that, the whole Nolan thing later on. But for the big thing right there with Emily, though, I knew she was lying to me when she said she didn't tell Nolan. She didn't do a good job of hiding that. And no one gets a lie past me. Call me a human lie detector. I'm already a Survivor psychic. Call me the Survivor lie detector up in this bitch. Like, I know when someone's lying to me. Like, it was really just kind of annoying. Like,
I think that some of that is maybe an opportunity to go back to what Jimmy said about player versus person.
yeah.
And also that like the people push a narrative, like, look, Ben was pushing you and Vin against each other and was coming up with narratives because it helped his game. In season 9, whatever the hell it was, Second Chance, my favorite part is the infamous Maris Siwa and Will the puppet whispering in each other's ears. I was against Maris in every confessional I could, yet here's Vincent pushing that we're working so closely together because it helps his game. People are going to push bullshit narratives because it helps. So it's your job to dissuade everyone else from believing the bullshit.
Can I also just say this one thing? I'd love to play with Vince from Converse Cast and Second Chance. I never got to play with him. I was actually there was a rumor going on right before the game started We're all going downstairs. Ben and Nolan come up to me. They're like, oh my gosh, holy fuck. Vince is going to be here. I'm so pissed off. He didn't fucking tell us. We got to vote him off immediately. They're pulling like a dick from last season. And they were just going batshit crazy over this shit. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, cool. I'd love to talk to Vince. Like, Vince and I never
did the lie detector not go off for that?
What?
Did the lie detector not go off for that?
It kind of did. It felt very suspicious. I wasn't 100% on it, but I was definitely more of like, if he is there, great, because I'd love to play with him. And if not, I'm like, okay. Like, it really just... No, Ben. No, I know. I'm not saying you mentioned Dick Ben. I'm saying that if you want to highlight that comment, Dan, from Ben.
I mean...
Yeah,
no, all I said was what you said.
That's exactly what you were trying to say. You were essentially trying to say they were trying to pull another, like, Dick situation. That's
not pulling a dick situation.
Not the dick mention.
Phrasing, boom. All right. I love Archer. Yeah, but no, like, it was really kind of heartbreaking to hear that. Again, kind of have this from Emily, where it's like, I want to work with her, I want to be friends with her, and then it kind of feels like this shit in the game alone, and then I hear shit outside of the game, and it's just... It really just hurts a lot, and it definitely felt personal at one point. And I was not the only one that really felt that way about certain events in the game. There were a lot of moments, and there was a lot of shit that didn't get filmed, especially with my game, which I was kind of, yeah, whatever.
Wait. Let's pause. Let's talk about that, Richie. What are some things that didn't make the camera?
Yeah, so obviously, I think I've mentioned to y'all to put in the past things, but first off, there was two conversations in Kayla's boot round. Sorry. Two things in Kayla's boot round. One conversation being, it was actually, I think, right before I heard she was a consensus. And I was trying to tell her, literally how Kayla said it, I was a canary in the mine. That's how I was trying to play this game. Be very quiet, stealth bomber, Danny Boatwright early on. And then rest of the game, start amping it up like Cody and HVV2. But honestly, I talked to Kayla and I said, hey, like, I haven't heard your name yet, but you need to simmer the fuck down because... I was trying to tell her without telling her, like, hey, it's freaking people out. You need to simmer the fuck down a little bit, and I want to keep you around. And then literally, I think if I recall correctly, I think it was that next conversation was the one where it was like me, Corey, Matt, and I forget who the fuck else was there. I want to say it was Dakota or Matt. We're all just like talking, and then they were like, oh, it's Kayla. And back in my head, I'm like, really? Right after I just fucking told her she was safe. I felt like shit about the Kayla vote. I will say that. I felt horrible about voting for Kayla because I did not want to do her at all. But that other conversation, the other part of that didn't show, was right after that conversation. Corey and I stayed behind because I wanted to talk to Corey because obviously the first few rounds of the game, I never have the best of luck usually. So I was very paranoid and just making it past those first few rounds, and then I'd feel a little bit more secure and knowing what the tribe dynamics are, because those first few rounds, you never know what the dynamics really are until you get past those, like, the second and third round. So for me, what really, like, Corey and I are talking, and I'm trying to convince him to go for Matt over Kayla, because obviously at the time, I was worrying Matt due to a lot of shit I'd heard outside the game, and Matt and I even talked through some of this shit as well. So I definitely told Corey, like, I'd prefer Max. I think we can honestly trust Kayla more. And he basically made it sound like it was like, I think he said it was like himself, Emily, Dakota, and Matt were already doing Kayla. And I assumed initially Nolan and Amelia would likely do Kayla unless they knew at the last second there was nothing to do to save her. So I'm like, okay, it's already like 4 votes Kayla, potentially 3 votes going somewhere else. A, if those 3 are going for me, I'm not going to risk that. And B, like, I have a tendency to try to fight and protect people very early on that I want to stay in the game, and then it fucks me over the next round. Like when I did Midwestern Survivors, Lake Michigan last fall, I basically protected Rebecca all of night 1, and then the next chance they got to vote me off when I wasn't immune, they voted me off. Evolution, with De-Evolution, with Alex, I protected him so much I kind of left myself exposed. There was a lot of situations, other stuff like in the past, where I will get protective over people, and I knew coming in, like, I needed to cut that shit out and just be more willing to let people go. And I literally told Corey, like, as he's telling me it's Kayla, I'm like, I can't risk tying the votes and going to rocks this early on. That's gonna fuck me over. So I told Corey, like, hey, if we go with this round, the next round we go with what I want. And I was initially trying to keep that very open-ended. But what happened was that Corey thought I wanted Matt and that it was a death sentence for Matt. So next round, we're all getting ready to go off Nolan. I was like about to tell Corey, like, hey, it's Nolan. As we're sitting down for tribal, I'm about to sit down. Corey goes up to Emily. He's like, hey. I'm just sitting here. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? We're about to sit down for fucking tribal. He whispers in my ear. He's like, Richie, we voted off Matt because I want to prove my loyalty to you. We're proving it because I want to prove my loyalty to you. We're good, Rich Dog. You're going to make it to day 2. It was like shit like that. And I'm like, in a moment, I was so annoyed because it was right after that whole like borderline argument, the first one with Nolan on night 1, where he was like getting mad at me because I went and told him a name, which I know that one I will take responsibility for because I fucked that situation up bad. And even in the moment, I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have said I assume I'll be voting Matt. But sorry, there's a few more.
I assume.
So then what happens is that the entire tribal, if you notice, Nolan and Matt, I keep getting distracted because Ben types so much shit. Nolan
Don't look at the comments. We'll highlight them when you need to respond.
The whole thing is that during that tribal, Nolan and Matt keep looking at me for reassurance. They're looking at me to placate them. They're not looking at Amelia. They're not looking at Dakota. They're not looking at Corey or Emily. They're looking at fucking me, the entire tribal, for fucking placation. Then I had mouth over to Amelia and Dakota during tribal, and I'm mouthing, and I'm like, do you know who the vote is? And then they both thought it was Matt, or no, they thought it was Nolan, and then I mouth, no, Matt. There was a lot of stuff like that this season where people were mouthing to each other stuff at tribal councils every round, and I took advantage of that. Like, if no one's gonna get called out for it, then I'm gonna go for it. Like, why the fuck not? But yeah, there was stuff like that. I don't think all of it was shown with that, but another big important thing that I think needs to be talked about, night 1, where a lot of references were made to night 1. Sorry, give me a second.
I mean, do you want us to talk about any of the things you brought up?
Should we?
Okay, I'm good now. No, because that's another thing you guys are definitely gonna
Plus
want.
hydrated.
Plus lemonade, so I'm probably less hydrated.
Sure.
So, okay, one quick thing, and I'll let you guys talk before I get to other stuff on the list. Only because it goes in the topic of deleted scenes or shit that wasn't shown, which I know, right? An autistic saying on cue and on topic. That's a big shocker, right? Sorry. Anyways, Nerves are breaking me right now. I keep laughing.
It's the ADHD and the AUDHD, Richie. I see you on that one. I'm not autistic, but I'm very ADHD.
And I'm an ADHD dumbass, Will. We know that.
You know that. It's part of your charm, Rich Dog. We love you.
Yeah, so night 1. We're all going to bed. There was a conversation I had. This was after the Amelia conversation, where she's like, I fuck with you. Which really, I should have hammered out a yes from her. Oh, Devin, no, this was lemonade. I wish it was peppermint schnapps. I ran out like 3 weeks ago. I do have sweet and sour schnapps. Anyways, so here's what happens. And I are talking. We're all going to bed. Norin is snoring his ass off in that little space between the pool table and the kitchen table and the oven and all that, which, I mean, with how he came off this episode, I'm surprised he didn't put his head in the fucking oven, but that's a different point. Anyways, I don't, holy shit, okay, that was actually a lot for me, sorry. Nolan, it's all in good fun, Nolan, all in good fun. Sorry, anyways, so what happens is that Nolan's snoring, you know, he's like, you look at him, he's like Count Dracula in the fucking, like, tomb. He's just laying there snoring his ass off on Amelia's air mattress, which, by the way, I did give him one of my chicken tenders, as he said, between the challenge and the merge. But Corey and I are talking. And we had this, like, really good, like, heart-to-hearts, because I think a lot of people know I've not been doing good outside the game. There's a lot of shit that's been coming up in my personal life that I'm not going to go too much into, because I don't think this is the right platform to get into all my mental health issues right now. But, yeah, so Corey and I had a lot of heart-to-hearts, one-on-ones, talking about relationship stuff, all sorts of other shit going on. Then I swear to God. Anyways, so what happened was that Corey and I are looking at each other, and that's when I start trying to put in the work to get the blind side for Dakota going. Because I'm like, hey, Amelia can be. I'm trying to look like talk to Corey as if Amelia could be our Maggie from Fans, which Maggie was a great player from Whitewater, very underrated social player from Fans versus Favorites. And me, her, and Corey got the final 3. So like at Corey, I'm like, Amelia can be our Maggie. We can all go to the end. We can get to the end game together. And obviously, was I going to go with the end with Corey? Absolutely not. But I'll get to that in a second. So flat out, I like the entire time Corey and I were on that couch. We're like, I don't know how to describe it. Maris, I know you were filming there, so you can help me describe it if I'm not doing it well. There was kind of like the top of the couch was there. We were laying down on the couch, which is a little further down. So when you're laying down, your head's kind of like here. So the entire time, Corey and I were whispering because he was so worried that Nolan was faking being asleep. Corey's worried that Nolan's gonna wake up and hear what we're saying. And he's like, oh yeah, Nolan, he's so good. I think I prefer to keep him over Dakota. And the entire time he's doing is like the entire time. And then I'm just like getting so annoyed. And like I keep laughing and getting annoyed at Corey because I'm like, Corey, the best move is to get rid of Dakota, because then it wraps Amelia up on our fingers and gives us an extra vote. And then he just was not for it, and I kept trying to push for it, and he was not doing it. And I was trying to get him to just say, "Can we at least talk about it? The next day, whatever." Why she mentioned 2 weeks in a row? Okay, sorry. Anyways,
You're not helping.
Oh, so here's the other thing. Though. During this conversation, Corey also gives me his blessing to fuck him over in the finals, in the end game. I'm not even joking. He literally did. He looks at me. He's like, and he was trying to go up with this narrative that he talked about when he voted me off, how he said he wanted to give me his win and all that shit. And he flat out says, Rich Dog, if you need to vote me off and get rid of me to secure yourself to win, I'm okay with that. And he was almost giving me, I felt like a Godfather moment of him giving me his blessing to basically kill him in a game. To get rid, I kill him in the game wise. Not literally. But yeah, no, it was very much just a lot of very interesting conversations that, and granted, this also happened like 2 to 3 a.m. But that's the whole reason I was fucking pissed when that whole fight with Nolan starts the next morning. I'm making fucking angles. With my ad, there was an extra Shrek reference because Dan tasked me this season.
Wait, yeah, hold on. Yeah, I want to talk about this. This is very important to me.
Richie,
yes, I will.
Hold on, Nimbo. Hold that thought.
Okay,
Richie,
fine.
I just have one thing. After all of that, I just have one thing to say to you. I fuck with you.
I fuck with you. Well, I fuck with you too.
Richie, we all fuck with you.
Richie, you made my life. Listen, for my next birthday, it's October 7th. I will come out to Wisconsin. I want you, probably Ben, because he's really good at lip syncing apparently, and I'll think about who else, to do essentially Drunk Shakespeare, but a recap of season 10. And we're going to go episode by episode, and you're just going to do...
Wait. I have something for this. Wait, I have something for this. Give me a second.
What you do?
Oh boy, I regret
What
my
is he
statement.
getting? What's
Probably the hammer. Oh Lord. Okay, Dan, go ahead.
I'm not drinking it. I just want to
okay, so
Oh.
going into the season, I tasked Richie with a secret mission to make as many Shrek references as possible. I did clue in a couple people about this. Amaris, I knew she was on production, so I told her. So here we clocked in. We clocked in during the cast intros. Richie says that he has a plan, and his plan is like an onion. That's
I
ding,
caught that
number
one.
Yes. When he votes out Matt, he says, "Get out of my fucking swamp." And now here's where I have a bone to pick with Devin, because I know that this footage exists. I have seen it after they make it through night 1.
Yes,
Richie
that's
goes
what I was about
to
to
the
say.
freezer, takes out this big bounce of Eggos, and goes, "Guys, everyone, in the morning, I'm making waffles." And he hits himself in the head with the waffle box too. It was, I don't know how it didn't make at least the sneak peek, but I know it exists. So I'm going to give credit to Richie for that. And thank you for adding
honestly,
extra entertainment.
I clocked both of those, but at the second time I forgot the first one happened, so I didn't even think about it as like a trend. So you props.
Well, I will say this. This episode for me was kind of live and let die. Am I right, Dan?
Is that another? Because they do the song?
Yeah, the third one. Did you not see my fucking Instagram story, bitch? I swear to God. Anyways,
Richie, you would. I don't know. This just reminds me of like a traitor's comp, like a poisoning someone. Like you have to say like how many things can you say from like a movie? Like you would kill that. I wouldn't even.
You'd be eating that up. Yeah.
It sounds like something you would do in Zoom Traders. Second
Sure.
Chance. Which, by the way, I'm on the ballot for that. Vote for me for Zoom Traders Second Chance. Anyways,
and America.
And you get 5 votes, so put one on me too.
because I didn't already.
Oh, just to the general populace, to
and
any
actually-
viewers at home.
That season's actually called Second Chances. It is plural. It's in the
Fucking
title.
man.
God.
This one, let me check. Actually, I have the buff right here because I put all of them on. Surprised I know my circulation wasn't cut off yet. Let me look. It says second. Fuck, it's like curled up. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, wait for it. Wait for it.
I mean,
Sorry.
should we do a drum roll for Richie? There you go. Well,
It feels like I'm in grade school again. Oh, it's singular, not plural.
That's
There we
okay, Dan. You have Zoom traders. No worries. No worries.
Okay, yeah. So back to the whole thing. There was that scene though.
Corey, it's your fault for voting off your idiot. That's not on us. You're the one who backstabbed him. I don't know why you're coming for me.
Oh, by the way, Jimmy, I saw that comment. I wasn't in the game in episode 5 of Winter War, so nice try, bitch.
we aren't
So
talking about it.
anyways, No, it's in the comment section. No,
Nope, we're not highlighting it.
sorry. Okay, so yeah, there was that deleted scene of that where I did say the Ego thing. That was 3. I just made a 4. So this season, I could say I've at least made 4. I still have the reunion to try to throw a couple in for you.
Please.
I'll try.
Now it's not a secret
I'm just glad
anymore.
that one got cut off because that's the one thing I was actually really excited to see. Though the conversation with Nolan, yeah. So there was a whole fight with Nolan the next morning. He literally went aggro on me like the first, and it was very quickly in the morning too.
Dude.
And I had literally spent 2 to 3 hours fighting for him overnight. So that's why I was so like upset with it because it definitely felt like he made it personal out of nowhere. And then the conversation later on, he's throwing the friendship into the equation, and then he's like making it really personal. And I'm like, what the actual fuck, dude? Like, I literally told him, like, I just went to bat for you last night. Like, why are you gunning for me?
Yeah,
And then the next
we
thing,
got that in your conversation with him too.
I want to say this. Can I say this one last thing?
Of course.
Before this part of it, before we move on to other stuff, and I'll let you guys talk about this and we'll move on to other shit. Well, I was really annoyed with how they're trying to make it look like I was a difficult one in that conversation because that's not what was happening. I was trying to convey to him through his thick skull that all 4 of them had come up and told me his name. Emily said his name to me. Corey said his name to me. Amelia said his name to me. Dakota said his name to me. But I'm the fucking difficult one for telling him as it is that he wasn't like literally there was a likely chance he was either going to be the next one voted out of our tribe if we lost round 4 or 5. He was either going to get voted out with an idol in his pocket, or he was likely going to get at least a single vote and waste the idol. Like, he was not in good of a position as everyone thinks he was.
I don't want to jump ahead too far because
Yeah.
we'll do questions later. But since we're on the topic, was like one of the questions I had for you, Richie, because I also have a list. One of the questions I had for you, when Nolan was like, who was saying my name? And you said everyone, even though that was valid, was there ever a moment where you were like, yeah, let me just throw one of them under the bus so I can get heat on them and off me? Or is it just in your nature to be like too loyal or not want to like throw a name out there or whatever the reason may be why you wouldn't? Like, how did that play out for you?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. Annika, I'd like to party with you too, girl. Hit me up. Birthday party. Sorry. Anyways, I got distracted. I'm sorry. Your question. It's a great
Okay.
question, Will. Long story short, it was really, I did briefly think of it for like half a second, but then I also was worried because let's be honest, everything I say usually travels around in this game. So my biggest worry was I was worried that he was trying to play the long con of me, and then I tell him something, and then he'd immediately go tell like Emily or Corey or whoever that I was saying a name and I was trying to throw them under the bus. And the next thing you know, they tie me up, gag me, and then they run the bus over my head. So, I mean, that was my biggest worry, was that that's what was going to happen to me. If I told a specific name, that then it's just going to get turned around on me. And I was very well smart enough to not fall for that shit, because I've seen so many people I played with fall for that exact same shit, even telling me shit they shouldn't be telling me. So I was like, I'm not going to fall for that shit. I think I should have said a name to him looking back, or at least try to assuage him more that everyone was saying his name.
So I think at that point of that conversation, it might have been too far gone already, but just throughout your entire game, at least from what we saw with Nolan, you didn't give him any kind of information. You were very surface level with it, and I get why you're being cautious about that, but that's a red flag to Nolan that, okay, Richie's not telling me anything.
Oh, 100%,
so then
yeah.
Richie's against me.
Oh, yeah, and I was definitely like that with other people, so that's why I think it was very ironic of me looking back. Because I think it was kind of tit for tat in that situation. I don't think we were really giving each other the full story of what was going on, but I don't really know. It was just, I think my game started to go down when I told Nolan, I assume I'm vulnerable. Which, by the way, can we take a shot for every time I fuck up my game? Like, sorry. Anyways,
You're welcome to.
No, like, I think that was the biggest thing that fucked me over, was me telling Nolan, like, I assume I'm voting back. And even in the moment, I'm like slapping myself in the head. I'm like, why? You don't say you assume. And then Nolan correctly calls my ass out on this. And he's like, what do you mean you assume? And I'm like, yep, I'm fucked. I just had a weird feeling of like, I just started the domino trail and then it's eventually going to catch up to me. But,
yeah. So when you say you went to bat for Nolan overnight,
yes.
What were you really pitching, and who were you pitching to? Emily and Corey?
Well, it was really just Corey, because by this point, it's like 2 to 3 a.m. Dakota and Emily went to that side room. They were doing confessionals in the sleep. Nolan was on the air mattress, snoring his ass off on the air mattress. Oh, it's going to be a meme at this point. Amelia was on a futon upstairs. Corey and I were taking like the couch area. So I was literally just talking to Corey, and my whole pitch was, Amelia will be someone who will work with us if we work with her, if we like try to include her in. Yeah, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Corey. Like, there was a lot of points where I was trying to tell her, like, if we do what Amelia wants for one vote, then we can get her wrapped around our fingers and make her trust us. And then Dakota, we get her out, and then it gets out a potential wild card for later in the game. And then it really at that point, because I wanted Amelia, he wanted Emily. So by default, the only two options left were Corey and Dakota. But yeah. So I think, Emily was, yeah. So Emily and I were both basically doing the same thing. Mad props to you, Emily. Actually, that's good. We're both going to bat. That's actually really funny.
Since Daniel, since it seems like the chat is getting a bit active, maybe this is a good time to do our ImmuniTEA player to then
yes, we can do that.
Questions, since they have a lot they want to ask Richie, understandably.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, if people want to start sending in the questions for Richie, now is the time. I don't even know who I'm going to give this to. Did anyone else have an idea of who they want to award the ImmuniTEA for the episode?
Yeah, I think I have one.
Go ahead, Maris.
I think my player of the episode would be Nolan. I think he's really well insulated. He's come out.
Maris, just a correction. Sorry to do this on Maris Day.
Sorry.
It's no longer player of the episode. It is who we think is serving the ImmuniTEA.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
We won't. It's totally fine.
Oh my god.
It's like totally different.
She just disconnects.
You like don't ever see me again.
We spend so much time thinking about it.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry. Let me take it back. All right, let me run it back.
Roll back the tapes.
Roll it back. Who I think is serving the ImmuniTEA this episode is Nolan. I think he came out of a situation, obviously, that was a little hairy, with a lot of people going to bat for him on villains, and I think he's really well insulated now. He performed well in a challenge, but not well enough to be #abs threat. So I think he's in a really good spot. He's in everyone's like ally list here, and he has custody of the idol right now.
He's also Team Amaris.
And Conveniently. Oh, he's Team Amaris.
What a coincidence.
Whoa, oh, I forgot.
Obviously, I will always be Team Will, Jimmy. But I'm gonna give it to Amelia. I think, like I said earlier, I really love. Wow, me and Trini on the same page. That's groundbreaking. We said it at the same time. I never agree with Trini on anything. Amelia being such a loud and brash player, typically I resonate with, and for her to kind of sneak through the shadows, but also not in a way that she's not in conversations, that she's not building alliances. She got pulled into a majority alliance, which is, as she even said herself, way different than what her last experience was in Second Chance. I think she's really in a solid spot, and I really want to give her flowers. I think I was the only one who didn't last week, so it's also well deserved to give it to her this week. So shout out.
Also on Team Amaris.
Had a good week. Good for them.
They both did. I agree. It's such a tough, just because it was such a consensus vote. I feel like a lot of the people had good games. I'm going to shout out Team Dan on Amaris Day instead, and I'll give it to Emily this week since I haven't given it to her yet. But really, both her and Kira being able to create multiple alliances with everyone at Merge. But with Emily specifically, her and Corey have been running the villain side of things. I think getting out Richie does help Emily because Richie was more of an ally for Corey than her. Like Corey comes first over that. So it puts them on more of an even playing field. I think that she's still well positioned in the game. Maybe people will see her as more of a threat going forward. But for now, I think she's positioned herself well and continues to stir chaos by putting targets on everyone else, telling people about other people's idols, but doing it in a way that's not so far firing back at her. Richie, did you have anyone you wanted to shout out?
I want to give a shout out to I think the person serving ImmuniTEA this episode was actually Corey, even though it looks like a bad episode for him. If you notice, one of the biggest reasons for people trying to get me out was because they saw me and Corey as a massive duo. And the big thing is that even though people clearly saw it was Corey controlling the thing, they thought me as the bigger threat. Corey's able to skate by, had a lot of connections, and insulate himself very well enough in this round to showcase that he was making it past this round regardless. So I definitely want to give a massive shout out to that for Corey because I think he was serving the ImmuniTEA.
Yes, and I mean, some people said that Corey was carrying you through the game, but I think we saw you were literally the one to carry Corey in this game.
Oh, we saw it.
We did. All right, and with that, we'll move on to questions. Let me see.
Wait, can I ask Rich Dog a quick question
Hi,
while you pull them up?
Please do.
Okay, Richie, I know that we've heard a lot of discussion about like new era versus old era in this season. And I think you're in actually a really unique position where you've only played in the older seasons, right? But you obviously know all of the new era people, maybe the best out of those folks. And I was wondering if that's something you considered when voting people out early on, if it's something that you thought would be such a big discussion and where you kind of lie on that.
For me, and I'll say this actually ties into something I was going to actually talk about in a few minutes. Because there were a lot of talks, especially in the draft thing, about me being a massive pre-gamer, which I thought was hilarious because people were coming up to me telling me information pre-game. I wasn't going out asking them if they were on. They were coming telling me they were on. So I would always get information from people. So then when you start talking to me, I'd slip in little things of like, besides me and Corey, I think it should be very careful of old school and that we should just stay new school strong. And I was very much trying to paint this old school versus new school mentality. And Ben even called it out. The premiere, when I told people that like if Vin and Adam are in the game together, you need to be wary of them because they're a tight duo, and at least that's how they came off to a lot of us in Legends. And I was like shitting my pants when I saw Vin walk in because I'm like, if Adam's the next one down, I'm probably fucked. No, Ben, what I told you, Ben actually made a comment. Ben, what I told you is if you had the chance to get rid of one of them.
We'll get to the comments.
Yeah, focus.
At least quote me right, Ben. Anyways, so
Rich Doug, when you guys were voting out, like,
Oh,
old
sorry, yeah,
school
that part.
players one by one. Were you worried that that could affect your game as like an old school player, or did you see yourself more in the new era?
Yes and no. I think the big thing for me, it came down more to am I going to be in the majority part of it? In the aspect of, again, me early on, I wanted to very much just go along with the flow of the first couple rounds, look like a team player, and then once merge comes up, make a few moves. I don't want to like reference it to being the alligator, but I very much wanted to kind of poke my head in and out, have some big moves to claim as my own, and then talk about, hey, like I'm the loudest voice here, but I played one of the quieter games, and none of y'all caught on to my bullshit. That's what I wanted to try to do. So for me, it was very much of like wanting to try to be quieter and to a point where people were really not wanting to gun for me or have too many big reasons early on, and then kickstarted at the merge, like kickstart my heart at the merge. But yeah, so like there was that. But then the other thing I also knew is that, especially with the Kayla vote, one of the biggest reasons that when we went downstairs, after voting Kayla off, I mouthed to the other tribe because I knew they were majority new era strong, and I knew they were after Connor got voted off. I put it together. I'm like, yeah, they're likely going new era strong, and so that's why I mouthed all of them. And it was mentioned in the episode by Jimmy and I think Kira and Ben, where I flat out mouthed to them, said I tried, so that if we ever got to a swap or merge, they would have looked at me and said like, okay, like let's ask him for more information. Yeah, it's something like that. So it was on my mind, more so as a side game mechanic, but not a full-on aspect of my game, if that makes sense.
Got it.
I have a question, Richie. I think this will be a quick one. You had mentioned in your exit interview you felt very betrayed by Corey, which makes sense because he said he was going to tell you if your name was out there. It seemed like Jimmy was also someone who was very big and proponent of like, from the beginning of the episode, we see him very lockstep with you. You know, he's promising you he's going to make sure, you know, he tells you anything, but you didn't seem as hurt by that. And I'm curious if you just either didn't mention it or if it felt more personal with Corey, and if so, why?
It definitely hurt with Corey a little bit. For me, my first instinct was, it was kind of back and forth. It was like 1 minute I was very much like, he fucked me over. The next second it was, he probably like only voted me because it was a consensus. And the next part of me was, he still should have said something. I don't know. It was kind of this back and forth, if that makes sense. I don't know if it really answers your question, but it was kind of like a massive back and forth. I don't know. It definitely hurt. I think a little bit after I got voted off, like before the next vote off, but like a little after my vote off, it was very much, I think I kind of cooled off pretty quickly. I guess. I don't know if that really answers your question, but yeah. There was definitely yeah, sorry, Dan, you go first.
No, you're good. I just wanted to get to the chat because I haven't scrolled. I've just been at the top, so I can go down the line. I know there's a lot waiting for you. So first we have Iconica here. She wants to know, do you regret not aligning with Nolan instead of going against him the last 2 rounds?
Yeah, there's I'll answer this, but then there was a lot of other stuff I wanted to mention, but I'll answer this. Yes and no. I went in wanting to work with him, but then it got to the point where I just couldn't find a way to fit him into my plans. And after the whole Nolan Gate situation, there was that point in the conversation where I really did start to think, like, maybe there's a way I could pull him back in. And then, of course, there's so much chaos that was going around that specifically involved Nolan. They talk about Nolan having the idol. And then Corey and Emily were still very much wanting to go for him. And then they, like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, like, Nolan does have so many connections on the other side that it's kind of a massive concern if it does end up new era versus old school. So yes and no. I really did try and I wanted to work with Nolan, but it got to the point where, like, and Matt's vote off, I was ready to get rid of Nolan because, again, I didn't want to be the person to try to protect someone so hard, and the next thing you know, I'm getting fucked, sent out the door again. So.
All right. Devin wants to know, this is now your 8th time playing, but it's been 3.5 years in between now and the last time you played. So how did it feel just to be back in the game?
I don't know. being back in Survivor Wisconsin, it felt great. Like one part, it was definitely great. I think the problem was that I wasn't in the best mental mindset for lack of talking about certain situations. I was not doing the best mentally going into the game. So I think it kind of it felt really good to be back in, and I wanted to make the most of it in the game. But this whole season for me kind of felt like Legends in Wisconsin 1, where the Charlie Brown of Legends, where every time I tried to get something to happen, it usually didn't work. And then in Wisconsin 1 of just being very bad mental health wise going in, it just kind of felt like the worst of both. But like, it put me in a really unique spot coming in for my 8th time, because I was surprised that wasn't more of a conversation, especially with them, I think, mentioning at one point with Kyle. I was surprised it wasn't more of a conversation. It felt great to be back in the game, and I think a lot of people know. I've said this before too. I don't care how many times I come back. If I'm given a call and it works with my schedule, I will always say yes. Like, they know that. So like, I mean, it's definitely, I would hope this isn't the last time I'm on, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. Preposterous.
Stressful.
Dan, I swear to God.
Anxiety provoking.
I got the funny thing. People started trying to attribute it to me at one point, but it's like I wasn't the one starting these conversations after we won the first challenge. I don't remember who it was, but someone else just started like talking to 4 people. I would start scrambling, tearing apart the room looking for shit, and I'm just like, oh, we're just not going to celebrate. We're not going to say like, yeah, we won. Good job, team. Let's go, team. Like, we're just going to like immediately start strategizing like we're going to tribal. Like, that's, I think, I don't know. It definitely was a lot. There's a lot of there's some other.
I'm going to move on to the next question. It's just a quick draft update. I don't think anyone's lost both players yet, so it's just been strict boot order. So Tyler was on team. Richie was on team Tyler. There we go. So yeah. Tyler's now in. You were the 6th person voted off. So Tyler's currently in 6th to last, but everyone's still alive because, well, I don't know. I don't want to math out who's completely eliminated, because that's just too much work. But okay, so let's see.
Well, really quick, Richie can't answer this, but usually, Maris, we like to ask our guests who they think is next.
Well, Maris is on production.
I can't answer it either. I know.
Will trying to get spoilers.
Never mind. I totally forgot.
Will, I'll tell you. It's no.
And Dan and I already said we think we're worried about Joe. I don't know if that's our definitive answer, but that's enough.
I was worried about Joe.
For me to feel
Joe and Jimmy feel the most shaky to me right now.
Joe and who?
Jimmy.
Oh.
I think Jimmy has some outs, but yeah.
I think Brienne Nevers is the next one that's going to get voted off, guys. What do you think? Shut up.
I don't think so.
What can I? Okay. Yeah, I was gonna. Can I say? Are you about to do an? Oh, okay. I was gonna.
I want to do Alex's. So this is something that we haven't got to bring up yet, but people in the game saying that you were being Corey's lapdog, and come merge, you were still saying, like, I have to tell Corey about that first. So what do you want to say about this? Would you have approached? Like, I think it's fine to work with Corey, but would you have approached the way that you did that if you could do it again?
That's a good question. I would say yes and no. There was one part of me that very much wanted to have people perceive me as this person kind of in his lap, so that if they did look at me and him, they'd see him as a bigger threat. However, I also wanted to distinguish myself enough by starting to, again, like my whole plan was make it past the first merge round, hopefully at least survive that, and then start making moves, getting to people's heads, start planning the Corey blindside in advance and put a target on his back, while also trying to get other people out at the same time and trying to plant seeds about other people, you know, like a Richie seed. I wanted to plant. I wanted to do fans versus favorites. Plant a Richie seed. Have it grow into a big, beautiful tree in their head, sprouting out fruit of knowledge. You could bite into it and say, "Oh, Richie's right. Let's do what he says." But it just, unfortunately, my gameplay kind of got cut short of what I was trying to pull off. So, are there any more big questions you want to ask right now, or is there some other stuff I was trying to say?
There's plenty more. I'm going through inline.
Okay.
Matt Esmond's here. Why did you vote for him?
I will actually elaborate on that, because that was the next thing I was going to talk about, was that I did not want to vote for you or Kayla, Matt.
Why
First
did
part, I will say is, I mean, Matt, I think we definitely talked about it. Where early on, I was worried because of some stuff I had heard outside the game of you taking like personal jabs at me. That really got me upset. And definitely, I mean, we all know what happened with Kayla. I think I've explained that with Kayla. With Matt, I was going to tribal council, going to vote Nolan. The last second, we're literally saying, as I said multiple times, we were going to sit down. Corey whispers in my ear, it's Matt. And at that point, it didn't really click to me that I could have just went to Matt, Dakota, and Amelia and said, let's do Nolan. It should have, but considering Nolan had the idol at that point, he probably would have just played it on himself, and then it still doesn't work. But it was really because I was told the last second by Corey, and I was kind of worried about doing too much too fast. And it was literally that. It was not like I wanted to, Matt, because at that point, I actually wanted to keep you in. Because I'm like, okay, he actually showed his trust with me. Let's see what we can actually do to make it work out. And I was very open after that point, which I think we definitely needed that moment to work together and just kind of get out there. I will apologize for that, Max. I mean, we've talked since then, and you're 100% right. I should have worked with you. And it was probably the game-ending move for me was voting you out. So I mean, you were right with that. I'll give you that. You're 100% were right with that.
We kind of covered this a little bit, but I guess to expand more, do you think you could have handled Nolan Gate better than you did? So I guess just your overall interaction with Nolan.
And no. Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that I think definitely, even though I don't think it would have ended well for my game, I kind of think I should have just thrown someone under the bus, like Dakota, which maybe I could have helped especially because she went to talk to him 5 minutes later and said, like, I have thrown out your name. But I still feel like that would have ended bad for me. And I was literally trying to tell him that they all said his name to me. And I was trying to tell him that. But he just wasn't listening to what I was trying to say. And it got me thinking to this point that, like, is this actually salvageable or is it not? Because I was trying to do damage control even during the rest of the game, trying to see if I could possibly repair something of that. Like, if you look in the background of that end of that challenge, when Jimmy wins, I wanted to go up and hug Jimmy and be like, I'm so happy for you that you won. But if you notice, the first thing I do, I go up and try to help Nolan back up. Because I was hoping to try to at least do some damage control still throughout the next couple of rounds. Try to hopefully get him at least thinking of me more positively and not so negatively. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, that is, yeah.
I did miss, because as I went, they said that we could disregard the second question, but I was going in order, so we didn't. Okay, Ben's been saying nonsense. So, Richie, why would you do this? Do you think it works? If you could, why then you didn't? The silence. All right. I don't think I missed questions. What was the other things you wanted to talk about, though, as we wait on any more questions?
I think definitely in the game, it's funny because I'm always the very person to say don't underestimate anyone. Only for me to kind of underestimate Amelia. One of the big things going into the game, I wanted my final 3 to be me, Amelia, and Kayla. And yes, Matt, I am drinking schnapps. Sorry, I saw the comment. Anyways, yeah, so I wanted it because I'm thinking either A, like perception could come in handy and I could win by perception alone, or at least get a couple votes guaranteed, or B, they win and I'm at least happy with a character who's usually underestimated winning the game. Because we've seen a lot of these people who usually make it far, and then we have other people who just never get that chance. And so I was really hoping to try to get some more people who hadn't been able to get that deep in the game to really, like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I want to kind of like to see, I don't want to say like an underdog story, but I definitely want to try to band people together of that sort to get like an underdog type of thing. So, yeah. That was one of
Corey asks, why do you and he remember the Matt vote out so differently?
Corey, you said you trauma blocked everything. That's literally what he kept saying every live commentary thing. Like, I may not be the brightest train in the box, but I am far from the dullest. And you can put that on a pride flag. What? I'm gay. For people who didn't know.
Richie, so am I, and that made no sense. Richie, I
Okay,
fucking
well,
love you.
yeah, literally, I don't know why you didn't remember it. I remembered it because I think it probably came up with more flashball memories to me because I think it's stuff that very much impacted my game. Whereas for you, I don't think it impacted you and your game as much as it did for me. So I think for me, it was more flashball memories because I think it kind of led to my downfall. And it kind of kept highlighting and replaying in my mind, oh, this is probably where I fucked up. So, yeah. But,
Dan, there's a question above that one from Corey from
yeah,
Devin.
and I did say that, Corey. I did say that. And you pushed for Kayla, Corey.
Richie, what season would you return for if you got a 9th invite? What theme?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, he asks it every episode, and I really like it. And actually, after you're done, I want to hear from Amaris on this one too.
For me, I'm really open to anything, to be honest. Like, I don't think I'm really that close off. I'd love. I'm gonna sound really cocky for this. I'd love an All-Stars invite, obviously, but Blood vs. Water is a theme I haven't gotten to play, but I think I need to get like a man or convince one of my cousins or my siblings to come play with me for Blood vs. Water, which makes me worry of how likely I could be able to do that. But I'd love to do Blood vs. Water someday. What else? If it was like a half and half season of like people who have not gotten the best opportunities to play the game or have always gotten screwed versus like newbies, I'd love that. Fans versus favorites too. Come on, I'm the OG fan favorite up in this bitch. Like, I'd love to do fans versus favorites too. Like, I don't really know. If there was like ever a season where it was like all returnees by people who were on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, I think that'd be a great season for me, especially because like, right, yeah, like it'd be a great season. Like, if for me, I think it'd be a great season because it's like, I always do know I'm definitely like, I mean, obviously people know I have autism, I'm gay, and those are kind of two big things that for me, I kind of feel like I do. I don't know if I want to say somewhat represent or fully represent in the game. It's something that people usually kind of know that's a part of me. And I don't know if I'm really saying it well. I do think it would be very good representation-wise for that. I'm trying to think.
I also told Devin I would really love a queer season once we flesh out things more. I know I saw Trinity said, and I've advocated for this too, like an all-femme season would be really cool once we have more like representation from more people. I'd totally be down to clown. I always said Ramona has, like, I've never played in full drag in LRG because that's just crazy. If I ever did, it would be for Wisconsin. And I think that doing a queer season, I would 100% come as Ramona and play in head to toe drag. So Christian and Devin, mark it on your calendars. Let me know.
I think we got Vin to agree to that too last week. Yeah.
Vin said he was going to let me put him in drag. It was here. And the tapes were not docked.
Will, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
I almost said the F word. I can't say that on YouTube.
Amaris, what was your answer to that question?
Yeah, I love a Blood versus Water, right? Like I would love to play with Stefan. It's the only season I've won was the only Survivor season I've won was a Blood versus Water theme. So I feel really good about it. Would love an all queer season. Would love an all women season.
What about you, Dan?
I mean, whatever.
I think we talked about it on an old episode, the first time Devin asked. I don't remember what Dan's answer was, but you can go back and watch the pod.
There
you go. That works.
Yeah.
I also said, going off yours, Richie, I also told Devin that Survivor Columbus, shout out them, are doing a season coming up that's first timers, so people who've never played an LRG, first boot versus first timers versus first boot versus zero vote finalists. It'd probably be hard because WizCo has had so many people come back that it's like,
technically, I was a first boot in Cabin Fever, so technically, if I wanted to, I could do that.
But yeah, I thought that was a really cool theme.
No, it is. When we do white collar versus blue collar versus no collar, that'll be awesome.
No collar.
When you're a hero or a healer or a hustler.
Stefan's a healer.
Stefan, healer tribe. Me, none
hustler.
of them. Me, hustler.
Hustler, yeah.
You were out there hustling on the challenge.
I'm always hustling.
Rewatch season 9 and tell me you're not a hustler.
Well, you know what? Fighting for my life.
T.
Oh yeah, so wow, there's so much stuff I don't think I've talked about. Not like so much, but there's some other stuff. But back to what I was saying before, I definitely think I underestimated Amelia a lot. Because I definitely saw her as like someone I could most likely win against and possibly. But then seeing how she was playing the game and what was going on when my back was turned, I'm like, damn, like she was holding up her own. And I was worried about if I didn't fight for her, she was just going to be left out and then she's going to get her head lopped off again. Because I just didn't want to see her get screwed over very early on, like she did the last 2 times she played. And I was definitely protective of her the entire time I was in the game with her. So I don't know. I think I definitely underestimated Amelia. What's some other stuff? Oh yeah, the Corey.
Would you say you are a snake or a worm?
A worm.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that
Really?
yeah, I felt that was not a good night for me.
It's okay.
Yeah, so the conversation, the one with Joe thing where I was told Joe said my name and then I talked to Joe, that was out of order. I had the conversation with Jimmy, Corey, and Kira first, and then I went to Joe because that's why I went to Joe right after. And I asked him, I was like, hey, like, I've heard you say my name. I'm not mad if you did. I'm just curious. And then he was like, oh, no, I didn't. And it was like that back and forth. Yes, Nick, the worm. I heard Andrea does a great worm.
Nick was a good one. Did he do it on the intro for 9 for a second chance?
Yeah, Nick and Andrea did some at a watch party we all went to.
Nick heard that we're doing a queer season, so he came back.
He was summoned.
He was summoned.
Will Yumi and Nick in an all queer season? I would die for that. That'd be great. I would die.
You,
for
you
that.
Nick, and Ramona.
Yes. T. ImmuniTEA.
ImmuniTEA.
Richie, I do have a question for you. I
yeah.
have an actual question I want to get your viewpoint on. So watching the season back, at least pre-merge, right? You were incredibly anxious that entire time. But now but to watch and see that you were actually never a target for anyone. If you were to come back and play again, do you think you would be able to think back on that and realize, okay, maybe I'm not always going to be the number one target. I can kind of trust in my allies a little bit more and just maybe ease back on some of your anxiety? Or would you be able to take that away from this season? Or do you think that the anxiety would come back to you in the moment?
Yes and no. I think in some aspects, anxiety for me, like I've been through, and some people know how much shit I've been through in my life. Some people don't know how bad it's gotten in my life across the last 2.5 decades. But there's some stuff that just anxiety kind of popped up out of nowhere because of some past trauma stuff. And there's other situations where it comes up out of nowhere. And I'm like, why the fuck am I so anxious over this shit? It's so dumb. But like, I think I would definitely be able to kind of take a step back and be like, let's try to be calmer. Like it's not as serious as I think. But I always do have in the back of my mind that if you don't have an idol around your neck or a mini necklace around your neck or an idol up your ass with a bag of jelly beans, that you could be at risk for going home. And that's always in the back of my mind because I've seen some people get so confident that they're going to stay. And then the next thing you know, they're going home. And I would never want to be that person that never thinks they're at risk. Like the people who never think they're at risk are the first ones to get their head lobbed off. So yes and no.
Yeah.
Oh, limp sync. I read that as NSYNC.
Yep, that's what they said.
I've joined. Yeah.
You know what I just realized? If we do a queer season, we can bring Dick back. And maybe Atticus. Maybe Atticus can come out of retirement. It's literally just going to be me versus all my ops. It's Nick, it's Dick, it's Atticus.
I just heard Trinity go, what?
I'm just going to be first boot. It's fine. Hey, it's the first for everything. I've never been that before. So, that'll be my time. The queer season.
Okay, wait. So, although there's some other stuff I was going to say. I do think that there were lots of moments this season where people were reheating my moldy nachos from 2021.
Moldy.
They're moldy because they're 5 years old. Like, people were talking about starting chaos with idols. Nolan, and here's the thing. Nolan, round 2, was like, I'm going to play my idol. Y'all know I have it. I'm going to be safe and sorry. Just make sure I get past the next round. None of us are targeting him. but he was still in the mindset of like, hey, let's do that. Like, I'm gonna play my idol. Let's do that. And then I was the only one who clocked, like, guys, I think he's gonna actually do it. Like, why would he lie about it at this point? It serves him no purpose to lie about this early on and cause distrust with all of us. So, like, there was stuff like that. There were other things where, I reheated my own nachos at one point when I picked up Corey. Just like 2021, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Yeah, no, literally, like, oh, by the way, with idols too, you were talking about it earlier, and I didn't get my say in yet. Telling people about an idol, I think in the right circumstances, I agree with Maris, but in other circumstances, I'm very much like, if you tell the right people, it can cultivate trust and can very much cultivate a good relationship. So I do think 100% that, like, if you tell the right person, but obviously you have to be very careful with it, because if you tell the wrong person, your whole game gets undone. So I think it's a very 50-50 thing, but I do agree with Maris that giving it to a person, I think it was Maris and Will, or I know Will said it. I think Maris also said it, but I do agree, giving it to someone in the opposite tribe is a very dumb thing, because not only do you not know the dynamic, it's kind of what Amanda Kimmel said in Heroes versus Villains. You don't know the dynamics in the other tribe. You don't know who's lying and who's telling the truth until you meet up with them and start to get information, gather stuff up. You should never give someone an idol in the other tribe. But you should also keep the idol for yourself and not give it to the other tribe, because if you are lucky enough to get to the merge and you do hold that idol, you have the control over where it goes. You can play for that person you think is in trouble, or you can play it on yourself. The power and the control is in your hands, not in someone else's. So that's why I wanted to say for that before, because I didn't get to get my say on that before, because I was exiled on Exile Island, like in Twit Manor.
Well, alternatively, when you find an idol, you could just scream at the top of your lungs and let everyone know about it, right, Richie?
Be very, very careful, Daniel.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, no, literally, like, that whole thing, even, like, I literally remember, like, jumping up and down, really hyped up at first, and it was after, like 5 seconds, I was like, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't be doing this. But then at that point, I'm like, shit, if I just stop now, they're going to know I put 2-2 together and not think of me as an idiot. And then that's why I just kept going with the celebration. But even when it looks like I'm being a dumb bitch, I'm not being a dumb bitch. My mind and my mist. Yeah. What else was going on? I wanted to say. Yeah, so...
Did we get to everything on your list?
Almost. I do think it was a... I know, you're just so excited to get away from me. I do think that it's a dumb move for them to have voted me out, because looking at what was going to happen, as much as I had a plan, I questioned how likely it was I could have executed it. And I do think there were a lot bigger fish to fry than me, and that the whole thing was just kind of more of a petty move than it really was an actual smart move of the game. Because let's be honest, I don't think with this group, a lot of them are respecting my game. So I just really kind of question, like, if it was the right move for them. Even in the moment, I was like, okay, I don't think I was the biggest threat there. Like, it just, the math wasn't mathing. And I'm not even a math major, and the math wasn't mathing. So
I think
it was a shot at Corey, because if everyone's looking at you as a duo,
and why not take the shot at Corey then?
Because I think that people, like, if the villains already had you in their mouth as, like, the whole narrative, like, Richie's butting into conversations, it was an easier sell than pulling Corey out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, because just from a gameplay perspective, you come in at a 6-5 for villains, and if you're just assuming, like, they stay tribe strong, Nolan is already against you, so Nolan, knowing that you guys aren't going to work together, can easily flip with the heroes, and that's an easy way for them to even the numbers, is take you out, which will still weaken Corey and also make it more of a level playing field for the rest of them. So it was an easy vote, but it was something that did benefit not necessarily everyone's gameplay, but I think a good amount of people. It made sense.
Yeah, I kind of felt
also,
like...
I think there's also a point in, like, keeping shields. I mean, it's literally how Dan won Second Chance, right? Like, keeping me and Maris around helped him get very far, and Kira to a degree. So if I were in the game, I would never want to vote out someone like Corey, not only because I think I'd align with him well, but also because he's a very big shield. Not to discredit your game, Richie.
Right.
I just think.
No, that's literally what I was trying to do. I was trying to get Corey as a shield, but I also knew he could carry me through the early part of the game that I'd struggle with, and I'd look like his pawn. But then again, like I said, slowly start to put myself out there more as a prominent person until I had the power to lob off the head. I mean, like, I love Corey, and I would have felt horrible voting him off, but, like, it kind of came in my mind pre-game. Once it was confirmed that he was one of the 6 people pre-game that was fully publicly confirmed, I had in the back of my mind I needed to work with him, but that I needed to be prepared emotionally to have to cut him. Because I've known Corey since he was 4, and I was, like, 6, so I knew it was going to hurt regardless. It was not something I was looking forward to doing, but I knew it was, like, for my game, I was going to have to eventually get to that point if I really wanted to win. And when Corey gave me his blessing, made it a little easier, but not a lot.
It's also like I always say, these games are also a bit of luck, right? Like Devin and Christian. Once again, my memory, I don't remember any of this, but Devin and Christian claimed that I was asked first for Heroes versus Villains. I don't remember that. So theoretically, let's say that I'm in place of Nolan because it's the modern era male. I totally would have worked with Corey at Merge to help save you. I wouldn't have wanted you out. I totally would have kept your ass. I would have gotten fucking Ben out. So, you know, like,
I don't know why we did
it. Part of it's like you replace one person, the game looks totally different.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Like when I hosted like Survivor games in college, there was this one game we did where one guy dropped out the day of. I know the name of the guy. I'm not going to say it, and whatever, dox him. But yeah, it literally was like a discussion after the game where we word for word said that like one person being added to the game could have changed everything. And it literally is true. Like one person can change everything. One swap out, one more person, one less person. The dynamics change everywhere. So it's just, I agree with that. What else?
Well, I mean, if you have any final thoughts, we're getting close to the 2 hour
sorry,
mark.
No, there's a couple.
You already have the title for the longest ImmuniTEA episode so far. So, I think there's like a couple other things I want to mention. A lot of people kept telling me that this was like the best game I've ever played, and I did so well. And I looked at them, I'm like, no, because I felt like this is just the worst game I ever played. And it was just kind of frustrating to watch that back, because I didn't get to showcase half of my game because I got sniped. So I shouldn't even say sniped. I got my head lobbed off like Mary Antoinette so early on, and then the other part, I don't feel like I played a good game, and I still had people coming up saying I did so good. I'm like, did I? It's like when I did Zoom Traders and I got murdered right at the end, and I'm like, did I? Like, I don't feel like I played a good game, but like, I don't know. Also, one other this is a funny thing I think you guys are gonna laugh at. I don't know if y'all remember this. And I think it was the episode 3 breakdown. There were like a couple people asking me questions about my romantic life and asking if I had like a boyfriend or if I was single, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the actual, I think it was episode 3. It was 3 or 2. I'm pretty sure it was 3. It was like only for like a couple of them, but it was like a couple random ones that they're asking when I was in the chat. And I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on here? Like, what?
Maybe that's like, the person who is also behind the like Minecraft fan bullshit. They're playing the long game. They've been
Roblox,
Roblox, right?
Roblox, if you're watching this. Roblox, if you're watching this, Roblox, just know I did fight for Kayla. I wasn't able to save her. So
justice for Kayla. You know what, Richie?
Please forgive me.
Fuck with you. With that, I think this is about our time when we start.
Is there any other big questions I could get? I never get interviewed, so.
Sorry. Well, the thing is, I think you covered a lot of potential questions with your list. And so you answered a lot of the things we've been waiting to ask you already.
Can I ask this? Did I serve the ImmuniTEA?
Richie, you always serve the ImmuniTEA, baby.
Absolutely.
One thing about you always serve some ImmuniTEA.
I want to say one of the. Oh, sorry.
I'm so happy you're on jury.
I will say I do have one of the other last things I'll say. I do have a lot of great content on Ponderosa, and there is a funny. I make a funny Survivor CBS reference in like one of my first Ponderosa scenes. I'm hoping you see next episode. I begged Devin after the game ended, I showed them the clip because I got Ponderosa content on my phone. So, like, there's just so much funny stuff on there that I think y'all are gonna like. I don't hold back. I'm like, if
have
I'm
a
gonna be
Ponderosa
bitter,
series.
yeah, like if I'm gonna be bitter, I'm gonna be funny about it. Like, I might as well make a show out of it and be productive if I'm gonna be a bitter bitch. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be funny with it. And I will say, I'm not gonna spoil anything with what my jury speech is, but I think it's one of the most emotionally raw things anyone will ever see of me. And that's coming from a lot because I don't show my emotions to a lot of people. I internalize a lot. So that is something I think everyone will really enjoy. And I think you'll see in the finale. You'll be like, he served the immunity.
You always do, Richie.
Richie, I just want to say it's like such a pleasure to watch you on this and to watch you do it, and your passion for it. You're always like giving so much fun, but I think also it's so nice to see your passion for this community, right? Like no one knows the lore like you do. No one gives their time and effort like you do, and I really want to applaud that. It's been really fun to see you actually play and work in this season.
Thank you. Yeah, I was really excited to come back and try to remind people of one of the OGs and just make sure people remember that, like, even if I'm not the best player, I will always work my ass off and I mean just showcase my love for the game.
You'll always be one of the best characters, bare minimum.
And I think we all know I'm definitely not this definitely I will find a way to show my ass in a future season. Like, this is not the last time people will see me play this game. I will find my way 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'll play however many seasons I can play in. They know I'll almost always say yes, schedule pending. The only time I said no, Battle Royale, because Michael kept changing the fucking schedule at the last second because 3 people wanted to go to a drinking for St. Patty's Day. Sorry. Back to you, Dan.
Yep.
I will get more into this at the end of the season if Dan and I do whatever the hell it was called last season when Jimmy did it, where we like kind of go through everyone's games and talk about like everything that they could do better. But what I will say, regardless, Richie and I have not said this to everyone on the pod yet, and that's intentional. You played a great game this season. Part of it was just luck. Part of it is opportunity for growth because there's no such thing as a perfect game, and yours was not. Neither was any of the rest of the 3 of us, and even Dan won. But you still played great in your own way, and I hope that you are leaving this season recognizing that because I think it's important for you to see that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping people think I did well. I don't know if I fully see it, but I think there's a lot of stuff going on in and out of the game with me that I think is just kind of it's back and forth, I think. So I don't know. I don't know if I see it right now, but maybe in a while I'll see it. But it's kind of like I feel like there's some people's perspectives I didn't hear because the only perspectives I've heard and are just kind of based off of what's been seen, and I kind of feel like I didn't, but I don't know.
And I think that, you know, as your friend, you and I can talk more off camera. I will say that I think it's always important for all of us to recognize, like, you know, sometimes we just entered a game when it wasn't our best time, and like maybe, you know, hindsight's 2020. But that, like, knowing that like you weren't your best and you still played the game you did, I think it says a lot. So like, give yourself credit.
I think at the end of the day, these games are meant to be fun, right? And that's why we're all doing it. I think it's okay
I love doing them. They're fun.
Exactly. You got to do it when it's fun. But if the games have become stressful for me at times, if you have to take a break, that's fine, right? Like the thing about these is you can tune in and out when you need to. I think it's a good lesson for everyone. Is just like this, you have so much more beyond these games too. You have friends who love you. You have a great thing going for you out of it. And these games are just an extra little added step of fun.
Right, and that's one of the things I love doing in these games is like making friends and like being able to meet people, which is another reason I always love like putting myself out there and doing these games, like Midwestern Survivors, lots of Survivor Wisconsin seasons, even De-Evolution.
Twit Manor?
Fucking Twit Manor.
Oh my God, don't get him started, Dan.
Dan.
Okay, lore type. No, I'm kidding. No, like literally, like if I flat out like there is another allergy I did apply for. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's a really fun one I've heard that I'm really hoping to get casted on for, because it's like I'm the type of person where I don't care what's going on in my life. If I get the call to come out and play, I'll jump on that. If I'm available to and able to, I'll jump on it. Obviously, I have a little bit of a bias towards Survivor Wisconsin, and 100% if they always call me, I'll 100% jump in on it. Because obviously, I've been involved for so long that like if they give me a call for like a 9 season, a 10 season, an 11 season, whatever, like I'll 100% always jump on it. Other LRGs, if they call me up, I'll look into it. I'll be like, okay, I'm interested. Let me get familiar with the lore. Like, again, there is one that I've applied to that I really am hoping that I get casted on because I am very, very excited about the potential of playing on that one. I'm not gonna say what it is, but
Dan, any closing thoughts for Richie, and then we'll talk about next episode.
Richie, yeah, you did play a good game. I think you were well positioned. I think you have no one's going to play a perfect game. There's always something you can build on, and I think you have a lot that you can build on from this season, and you've already acknowledged the things that you can do better. And so whenever that time comes again, I think you will be able to continue to improve on that. And just remember that you've got what it takes. You can handle it. You've continued to adapt for each season, and it was a while since the last time you played too. So
right, I think it was like evolution to Midwestern survivors, like Michigan alone, was like over 2 years, and then it was another like over almost 6 months from that to like Heroes versus Villains 2. But I don't even know if I want to count that too much because I was just like the third voted out of like Michigan season I did, so it's like I'm not even sure. But it was essentially between actually playing the game, it was essentially like well over 3 years. So it was very much like, yeah, I think there was just a lot of emotions that hit people this season. And Amaris, I think you can agree with me on this. That this is I think the most emotional season, the most emotional and cutthroat season I think we've seen in a long time. And when people ask me about this season, I say I'm not going to spoil anything, but this is one of the most emotional seasons we've ever had, for better or for worse. So it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
And
I think you set the tone for that with your vote out in this episode too. We can already see it happening. And that's a good reminder that we have a second episode this week. So
Things
we'll
are
be back again on Thursday.
So we, as far as we're told, we have another eliminated player, and we have another guest, another beautiful, gorgeous guest. We'll leave it at that. Who do you think it is? Only one way to find out. We'll see you on Thursday.
Amaris, do you know who it is?
No.
So
It's me again, probably.
All I will say is that in honor of me being one of the new co-hosts, we are all about the girls, the gays, and the theys.
Yeah, it was definitely a Will call. Will organized it and everything.
Yeah, Dan fought him, but Will won out.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks to both Richie and Amaris for joining us. Appreciated your commentary. See everyone on Thursday. And we are still going to be under an hour as long as I end the stream now. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Have a great night, y'all.
Minute or two.
I'll be back. Remember.